draft is underway right now. And Wolf Team, they had the first overall pick, using it to pick up the Death Prophet, one of the strongest heroes in the patch, so I get it. But on the other side here, Bowie, NoPing have done something quite intriguing. The Mars is something we see pretty much all over the world, but this Keeper of the Light hero has been rising in stock, not just in the support role, but the fact that they're picking up a hero which now can be played mid as well. Is this an option for NoPing, or do you think they just care about getting that coddle, getting the usage of Chakra Magic in lane, more so than they care about major burst coming in from the mid lane?
Well, I mean, I watch a fair amount of Suit's stream. He's been streaming a lot recently. I don't think that's really his kind of hero. He might have played once or twice, but as far as I know, he's really into the spirits. He's really into, creating space. And I think Coddle is a total different type of beast, right? You pretty much become position 1 for the first 20, 25 minutes of the game. You farm a Dagon. So this is most likely going to be RDO's hero. I think Coddle is a better 4 than he's a 5. And RDO, he used to be a carry, so Coddle, probably the best type of hero for that mentality of a player. I'm not saying he's like, he's going to be griefing the game or anything, but he definitely likes to farm. He definitely loves having a little bit of the extra gold. So regardless of Mars being off lane or mid, I think they're going to try and give a good matchup for Coddle so that he can farm a little bit and he can enable whoever is in lane. Mars is a good one, but there's lots of other heroes. Pango works really well. They could go Ember mid. Oh, Ember is actually banned, but really good with that cooldown reduction with the Sleight of Fist. There's like lots of really good combos, and that's why the hero is so good right now. Storm is also one that I've seen in the 4 Zoomers versus Wildcard Gaming series. Really good. Can cut waves. Storm just loves that extra mana. That one's still open.
That one is still definitely open, and of course, there's still versatility to be had with this particular pick. Wolf Team did come back here for the Clockwork Goblin, making sure that they have some long-range reach, potential combos from the off lane. We don't necessarily have certainty where this Death Prophet is going. It could be going into the mid lane, so heroes like Dox here suddenly become a bit more higher in priority in terms of the matchup with Clockwork in the lane. One thing I'm quite curious about, though, I'm looking at these bans from Wolf Team, and they seem to be really terrified of NoPing getting jumped from the spirits in the mid lane. Ember Spirit getting taken out. There's no Void Spirit being available here. It's a bit intriguing that this is the route of banning, in my opinion, here, Bowie, because whenever I see teams that have Death Prophet, they are not that afraid of jump coming into them. Like, there's certain heroes that you sort of welcome getting jumped into, provided you have the opportunity to get off the Spirit Siphon, and given that they don't have that much additional burst from NoPing, a bit peculiar that they're this afraid of the jump, also after getting Clockwork as well.
Yeah, what is even more confusing to me is the fact that they decided to ban Void Spirit instead of Storm. I think Suits loves the Storm hero. It is a really good pairing with the Coddle, as we already discussed. So I don't know if they are prepared with some sort of anti-mage pick or some sort of like counter, and they would actually rather face the Storm over the Void Spirit. But I don't know. I feel like most teams wouldn't agree. A lot of people actually consider Void Spirit to be a much lower tier hero. But we'll see. I think HFN is definitely an AM player. They could even pick Storm themselves, since they do have this double pick right now in the second phase. Picking Storm as a third pick, even with the Coddle, could be a little bit sus for NoPing. They instead grab the Lich. Two very very squishy supports, right? When you look at Coddle Lich, sure, they have a lot of damage. Sure, they can like assist in team fights quite a bit, but they are burstable. So Clockwork, really good versus both of them. Although Coddle farms quick 4 staff usually. I'm not sure I like this duo, especially that early from NoPing.
I decidedly don't like it, especially since this Lich Keeper of the Light, they sort of fulfill similar roles early on in the game. Later on, like you mentioned, they do get some kind of insane team fight. Chain Frost, Arena with the Will-O-Wisp, it can be quite buck, but for the most part, I'm not really feeling this so far. In fact, now that they picked up the Lich, it does give me a little bit of an inkling that this might be a mid Keeper of the Light instead. Just feels so awkward. Like, Coddle Lich, yeah, I really don't want to see this. I'm really hoping that this is not the support duo. On the other side, Wolf Team, if this is indeed the support duo, they're exploiting it by getting a hero like Puck. Not a lot of lockdown available from NoPing. For a Puck, it's practically no lockdown at all. Easy way to be able to get to the backlines. And it feels like right now, Bowie, the premium on silences for the side of Wolf Team is extremely high. They have a good one already from the Death Prophet. Now they have one on the Puck. And all they need now is just a hero that can dish out the damage in the small code after the Dream Coil. And suddenly their team fight is looking hella strong, even though NoPing have some amazing ultimates themselves.
I definitely like the Puck here. Not only it is a hero, there's good versus Clockwork, so you snatch that for yourself, but the silence totally destroys Kodo and Lich, and it's also a lot of burst damage, as you mentioned, with the Puck. They grab the Ench. I was definitely not expecting the Ench, because it does kind of hurt their flex here. Death Prophet can usually be played as a 5, so when you grab the Ench, you're pretty much giving away that Ench and Clock are going to be the supports. You do, though, gain the Dispel on the Lich shield, right? So that can be very useful in lane, especially if they decide to lane this Enchantress in the same lane that the Lich is. I don't think the Lich is going to be mid, so as a support, you do end up getting that counter. But I don't know. I think unless you already see a Beastmaster or you're doing this as a response to something, the Enchantress, although it's a very strong support, feels a bit random here. I feel like they lack damage with this pick that they went for.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see a more damage-oriented hero myself. Maybe like a Hoodwink or something could have been nice. Give them a break on top of it, but the Ench, more lane prowess. I'm really thinking that whatever hero comes out in the safe lane here for HFN, it feels like it sort of has to be a hyper carry. You were mentioning the anti-mage proposal earlier on. It is still in the pool, but I certainly need to see heroes that are going to take advantage of the fact that they have this Enchantress to help. There's that Storm Spirit you mentioned. Suits himself is like, well, y'all left it. And, you know, we were talking about how for this Puck, up until when they picked him in the draft, there was very little lockdown from NoPing. That is still the case. But at the same time, not that much lockdown from Wolf Team themselves. So because they picked a hero like Enchantress, no fear at all to go for a Storm Spirit. Now you actually have a way to get past the Clockwork. So even if he initiates onto the backlines of your team, you can do the same in the opposite direction and sort of create enough chaos that you can still utilize the Mars Lich to overwhelm them with just magic damage in the middle.
Yeah, I'm just kind of disappointed with Volt Team right now when I look at this draft. I feel like there's a high chance Anti-Mage can be banned from NoPing, and also I was not very impressed by the Enchantress. I think they played it both times in the last series. I felt like, it was decent in lane, but they struggled to gain enough an advantage where the Enchantress felt super impactful. And it's so clear that Storm could show up here. I feel like this Enchantress does nothing versus the Storm, as you said. You have Coil, which is a good response, but do you have enough follow-up? Like, you need this Death Prophet to always be playing with the Puck, and relying on 2 cores playing together to kill someone else is always hard, right? Because it means you're sacrificing farm for at least one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am very scared. I don't think there is a lot of responses that Wolf Team can do, and even like whatever pick they get, there's still last pick on NoPing. This feels like a pretty decent draft. There you go, the anti-mage ban. So yeah, doesn't feel like that Storm's gonna feel threatened at all. You could go Void, but you still lack damage, as we talked about.
You know what's actually kind of funny is that this is going to be the 4th game that Wolf Team has played with Enchantress, and they've lost all 3. So there's 0-3 at this point with this hero. It's a bit perplexing why they still decide to go with it, especially with the case being, like you mentioned, the lack of overall damage, needing the entire team to move together. And with this anti-mage being banned and Lifestealer getting taken out of the picture, Luna will be the last pick for Wolf Team. This is a somewhat HFN classic, this hyper carry. Unfortunately, Bowie, I am not convinced and sold on the presence of Luna in the contemporary meta. Just doesn't feel like she's playing at the same pace as everybody else. And unfortunately, I think one of the big things about it is you never really feel safe until like much later in the game to leave her alone as the big carry in the midst of the fight. She always needs so much help. I just don't see her winning fights unless they get a very good Dream Coil, an amazing hook with Cogs pushing back, maybe even Enchantress getting in front of the Luna and another hero. Just her fighting heads up. Well, to be fair, there's not that much physical damage, so the BKB will make a huge difference. But obviously, since they have the last pick for NoPing, you just go ahead and pick the matchup in the carry scenario that goes well against the Luna after she gets BKB, and suddenly the draft seems a lot easier for you again.
And I don't mind the Luna. I think that the big problem for me is if you're gonna play Enchantress, regardless of what happens, why are you fourth picking the Ench, right? Like you're fourth picking a hero you know you're gonna play, so you allow the other heroes to get targeted, and it's not even that good of an Ench game. So that's really my biggest concern with the draft. And I mean, Terrorblade is just a classic counter to Luna. You're gonna get the reflection against her. You steal the aura for yourself. It is a good matchup. It was expected, right? NoPing has the last pick, so
yeah.
I'm not convinced with Wolf teams drafting game one. They could obviously win, but they have to play really goddamn well. Like, I don't feel like the draft favors them a lot. They have to, like, there's definitely a time they can snowball. If they do win, like, this Enchantress Luna lane can be powerful. But they are very squishy, and you're playing against Scotto Mars, right? We talked about how impactful that lane can be with the double spear. They're both very squishy. So whoever gets level 2 first in that lane can like just snowball, get first blood. The lane gets really hard. When you look at Storm versus Puck, sure, Puck does have Coil versus Storm, which is very powerful. But you rely on this clockwork. Like, he really needs to play with 4DR. So King RD, I feel like he has to carry this early game on his back. He needs to be in position to always play with 4DR and kill Suvs like countless times. If they are able to shut down the Storm, hopefully they can win this game in 35 minutes where like the Terrorblade matchup into the Luna isn't gonna feel as hard as it feels, 50 minutes plus and stuff like that. But still, I feel like NoPing won the draft handedly. We'll see what happens.
I have the same intuition about this, but we will indeed see what happens here as game one is about to stack up. Wolf team, should they lose this one? I cannot stress this enough, everyone. We went through the archives. We did the research. There's never, in the entire history of the DPC, been a team promoted from Division 2 to Division 1 in any region, in any context, if that team loses more than 2 games. 2 is the absolute limit. Will they be able to make sure they get this win? Because if they lose to NoPing, they are at the 3 mark and promotion is impossible. On the other side though, for NoPing, we see them stacking up with this Dust the Lich and the Audio Cuddle. They are staring down the barrel of going 4-0 up if they win this matchup. Pretty much being shoo-ins, if not for promotion, at least in contention for tiebreakers for promotion. And either way, NoPing looking hella solid. Wolf team looking very consistently inconsistent, like Bowie said. But this game looking hype as hell. It's game one about to start. Let's go for some Dota hype in DPC.
All right. Very quick smoke here coming from NoPing. Well, they probably know about this. I'm sorry?
I'm saying that should have been scouted, right? That would.
Yeah, I think it was. Kind of a YOLO smoke, honestly, like coming from that angle. You do expect Puck to be able to be there quick enough for DR. Very experienced player. We'll definitely use the Illusory Orb to get there a little bit faster. But it was a good try from RDO.
We had this last pick, Terrorblade, coming in from the side of NoPing. The last game that we saw earlier in the day between Ravens and Omega Gaming, the Ravens squad in game 1 did end up playing a Terrorblade where, given what the enemy draft looked like, he was allowed to skip buying BKB. In this game, there is surely some threat obviously coming in from the Puck. There's a decent degree of threat from the Luna, but is the overall threat high enough that the BKB has to come sooner rather than later? Or is it one of those games that you can go like Falcon Blade, Manta, into Skadi Satanic and then just skip BKB entirely unless you absolutely need it in the absolute late game?
I mean, if the game is even, I think there is a lot of an incentive for the Terrorblade to get BKB. Honestly, there was a game in the last series of NoPing, of Wolf Team, where HFN was playing Terrorblade, and it was definitely a BKB game. He decided to be greedy with Scotty, lost the game because of it. I don't think NoPing would make the same mistake, so depending on how the game goes, he might change his mind. If they are ahead, obviously getting Scotty, is always going to feel a little bit better. You're going to farm a little bit more. But if it's even, we might just see the BKB, Yasha BKB or Dragonlance BKB, something of that sort.
Might have a first blood taking place down bottom, but Audio and Sexy Fat forced to run away here. Also, Bowie, why does it sound like you're traumatized from that SG Esports Wolf Team game? You saw things. You saw dark things.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm a Brazilian, right? So I have equal bias on both sides. It's just I just had so much expectation for Wolf Team, and that's why I'm harping on it too much. But I'm sorry if it feels like I'm.
No, please don't stop.
I meant no, like no disrespect. I just wanted to see Wolf Team doing a little bit better, I guess. But don't tell anyone or the 2,000 people watching or anything.
Hashtag zero bias coming in from Bowie, zero Brazilian bias happening here, you know? As a HFN, the eponymous person who we were just talking about, he should have a fairly decent lane here. Sure, you are playing into the Enchantress, onto the Coddle rather, but you have Ench to back you up. Some heal potential, some pull potential. You really shouldn't die here until like level 4, level 5 is when things get a bit dicey, but up until then, anticipating that HFN should have a decent time. Which of these lanes do you think we're going to have the most action coming out of early on in the game?
Probably the bottom lane, because Metamorphosis is such a long cooldown that I don't think there's gonna be like much this Terrorblade will do. I don't feel like there's also a lot of kill potential on this Death Prophet clock lane. Maybe if the clock can isolate the Lich, there is a chance he can get a solo kill, but overall I feel like the bottom side of the map is where the action is gonna be. Whoever gets level 2 here, HFN already has it, so they can definitely do a lot of damage to the Coddle. Mars unlikely to die, I think.
Audio, Audio, the amazing thing about having him play the Coddle, his positioning on this hero is honestly impeccable, so very much looking forward to seeing how he approaches this lane overall. Let's quickly take a look here middle, as we have a lane which we don't get to see nearly that much of nowadays. Puck has fallen down the pecking order a little bit. The Spirits, of course, are ascendant in the contemporary meta. But this particular lane matchup, Storm Spirit is winning right now. Should this be what happens more times than not, as Audio... Well, not Audio, King RD rather, excuse me, getting a quick kill onto Duster in this top lane, and they open up the score sheet. Betrayed by Bowie. I wasn't thinking about it, I was looking elsewhere. But they get the kill.
Yeah,
it happen with
I did say that, if there was a kill, top was going to be the clock killing the Lich, so that did happen. Usually, you want to play in the lane as the Lich because it's really easy for the clock to isolate you outside of the lane. But even then, King RD actually found a really good spot where he was able to isolate the Lich away from the creeps in the top area. So nicely done.
Yeah. Nicely done. Tavo on this Death Prophet as well in this position. Of course, it is DP off lane, so not expecting much to happen in the early portions. We're just trying to get these levels up as quickly as possible. And then we'll see about movement to try utilize the first usage of Ghosts in this top lane. And that actually does bring us back into this mid lane. So things are looking quite dominant for Suits. We know that he's a Storm Spirit specialist, but is the matchup this lopsided that we should be expecting this much of a difference in the CS? As we see down bottom, Sexy Fat, what? How?
Don't be mad.
That's... I'm not sure that's supposed to happen, Bowie. I'm not sure how that happened, actually.
Yeah, very characteristic mistake. I don't think that's supposed to happen. And talking about the mid lane, I also don't feel... I actually kind of stabilized now. So maybe it was a little bit... Maybe there, he got lucky with the camp spawn and he got like 5 creeps twice on the small camp as Suits. But yeah, in terms of net worth, if we actually take a look, it's pretty close, right? So... Maybe it was just some lucky spawns on the small camps and he felt like Suits was dominating, but at the end of the day, net worth feels comparable, although a slight advantage.
That's the most important part. They do have no camps being blocked here, so Suits can easily access those when he needs to. And with the level 3 static remnants, should be quite easy for him to farm this one up. This game, not very aggressive so far. Everybody is just sort of playing... you're playing as shyly as you would expect given the stakes, right? For Wolf Team, they don't want to make mistakes, but they understand this is their last bite of the cherry. For NoPing, they're aware that winning this practically puts them into guaranteed contention to go top, so this is not the time to overextend and make bad plays. Just want to try and have a standard of game as humanly possible. That being said, which team is going to start opening proceedings first? Because I feel both of these mid laners have ample opportunity once they hit level 6, level 7 to try and make rotations into the side lanes. Which team is more incentivized to try and make it early? As bottom, Sexy Fat gets taken down again, ran down. We see how it happened last time around. It turns out the Centaur Conqueror with the stomp and the body blocks enabled the rest of Wolf Team to run him down on Sexy Fat. Second death happening and they might get more. Audio went way too far forward. What happened, fam? What was this? What was this? HFN looking for the kill. They're trying to leave it for this Luna, and indeed she will claim it. That's going to be a very big kill to claim for her. Third kill she's involved in the first 5 minutes. This is a perfect start if you want to be a safe lane Luna.
This is really good. I think that's exactly what Wolf Team needs to win this game. You need to snowball your lanes. You need to use the advantage and pushing power that the Anch is going to bring. But answering your question again about the, when the game becomes more aggressive, I feel like it's different. The supports inside of NoPing, they can't really gank, right? When you look at Lich and Kato. So it's the Storm that will probably rotate to one of the lanes. He's going mid now, so it doesn't feel like that's something that he wants. Instead, it's 40R that comes bottom here.
Yep, he's going to be the first one making the rotation. We just spoke about it. Level 6, level 7, and 40R says, well, why do I need to wait for level 7, fam? I've got Dream Coil right now. I've already got damage flying in for HFN. And you know what I might as well do with this rotation, Bowie? I might as well make Sexy Fat's life even harder for himself. That's the third death he suffered in these first 6 minutes. He is having a torrid time. Bottom of the net worth, it seems like right now, of all the cores. I mean, Death Prophet's not that far ahead of him, but Suits needs to find this kill in order to make this move worthwhile. But unfortunately, 40R easily able to get away. You just can't gank this here right now, even with the haste rune. He's gonna try for it though. Suits chasing him down. There's nobody coming in to help 40R. Illusory Orb thrown in, and Suits not gonna be crazy enough to zip up onto the high ground. At the same time, though, Tavo were able to melt down Duster on the top lane. That's a bit unfortunate for the Storm Spirit, right? You don't get anything out of your own movement or of your own usage of runes. Instead, you just have Storm Spirit walking all over you. And Melancholy, wait, what? Why did King RD do that? What happened, Bowie? Why?
Yeah, the Death Prophet used a Crypt Swarm, almost got the kill on the Terrorblade, but he used Fairy Fire, and King RD is like, okay, I guess I'll run at him. But yeah, questionable play. And that's really the thing. Wolf Team, like they have top tier talent. These guys, they're really good. Usually when they lose games, in my opinion, it's not because of their lanes going poorly, but because of their macro decisions, their like trouble and struggle to close out games. I feel like they're terrible at going high ground. So that's expected, I feel like these guys can definitely play the laning stage at the same level as NoPing does, even better sometimes. But the real question is going to be, can they actually claim a sizable advantage, get Roshan, and actually go high ground properly? Because that is usually when they struggle.
Certainly has seemed to be the case for them. Many times I've seen them in the first 20 minutes, they're winning the game, and then they lose ultimately. Right now, King RG, unfortunately, will make that particular journey a little bit easier, because NoPing might get a free kill out of this, but they realize that there is some danger coming. 40R rotates in, gets the quick kill onto Duster. King RD looked like it was making a suicide dive. Instead, he was just setting up for the squad. 40R finds yet another successful rotation on this puck. Second on the net worth. Been farming very, very well. Going in for the early Witchblade. Turn that later into the full Blink Dagger. This looks like such a good game, and they're not done. They still have Dream Coil. They could actually go back in here. They don't have the hook shot just yet, unfortunately, from the Clockwork. So probably until Melancholy comes really far out of the camp, they probably can't kill him. Still, though, here, Bowie, it's looking very, very good. Wolf Team, they've increased the tempo, and it doesn't seem like they want to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, one thing that kind of scares me right now is that they're pushing this tower of only Tavo. There is Glyph and definitely like an opportunity for a response here. So, oh man, this is so greedy for Wolf Team.
All right. Ghosts have been popped to go in with the Metamorph from Melancholy, able to right-click down Tavo. Instead, also, Suits comes in to help out to bring down the Clockwork Goblin as well. They did end up losing Duster on the Lich, but who the hell cares? You prevent the tower from going down. It is in deny range, so somebody probably should deal with this. 40R looks like he's just going to get a tower for... Wait, what? They're not going to deny this? Really? Seriously? Hello? Somebody?
Yeah, apparently they're not, but I feel like the problem remains, killing Tavo there is so big. You waste the cooldown of the exorcism, and that's like a really common mistake. Like usually in European carry, he would TP top with the Luna and actually help with the push, because at the end of the day, for the HFN will farm the top side of the map anyways. Yeah. But when you don't assist, you actually give the opportunity for the enemy team to just TP like that. So, it's Tavo being greedy / HFN being greedy of not giving up one wave to be there, and don't allow for that type of play from NoPing. Tavo might die again, by the way.
Let's see. Do they have Gaze? Yeah, he's dead. No way out of this one. Sorry, fam. Sinister Gaze to drag you back. Tavo's going to try and stay alive here with these usages of the Spirit Siphons. Unfortunately, Melancholy still has Sunder available. This is not an easy kill, though. It's not a Death Prophet. Is he going to actually zone them back solo? Indeed, he's doing it. They need to actually use the blast coming in from the ledge to prevent Tavo from killing this Terrorblade. I thought they were going to bring in at least one to help, but instead it doesn't happen. And the reason they can't bring anybody here, Bowie, is because they're busy losing the Storm Spirit in the mid lane. Got jumped on by the rest of Wolf Team. As Tavo distracts the big carry, the rest of his team takes out the Storm, and now HFN finally emerges onto the field, ready to take down the tier 1 tower.
Yeah, this is a really good move. I love the fact that HFN actually rotated there, assisted their team. Tavo, by playing greedy like that, also held some heroes in the top side of the map. And this is great. I think this is exactly what they needed to do. Yeah, there were a couple of mistakes here and there, but at the end of the day, they claimed 2 towers, and NoPing, they're not even close of claiming any towers. In fact, the catapult bottom is there, but the tower switch piece, so there is a chance for Wolf Team to mount the defense. There's a chance that they'll just, you know, starve NoPing farming this big jungle. This is exactly what they had to do, so I'm very impressed. I think this is already a much better showing for Wolf Team.
It's the best I've seen them, honestly, just in
and
these first 10 minutes.
Much better opponent, right?
Oh yeah, the best opponent they've played so far. But that might be the thing, right? You know, certain players and certain teams level up at the same pace as their opponent. Like, the better the opponent, the better they play. 40R will be able to catch out RGO here. If they find this kill, this should lead into a tier 2 tower push. Tavo still has access to Ghost. HFN not too far away either if they want to get involved on this one. They're being a bit reticent about the positioning, but nonetheless, things are going quite well for them. And there we go. Ghost get committed. Tavo with the semi-army coming in from Enchantress, they should be able to take down this tower. Bottom lane, Melancholy is going to try and make some push happen on the bottom lane, but he knows that it's too dangerous for him alone to push onto the tier 2. We'll just send in the creeps as well as the catapult. Tavo takes the tier 2 top though, so now Wolf Team have so much more space on the map. They can claim this outpost and start to do what you just mentioned now. Start choking out NoPing by taking over their jungle and denying Melancholy that much more farm.
Yeah, that was not a good usage of the glyph from NoPing. They actually glyphed before the exorcism was used, so they didn't really have enough time to mount a defense. But I like what NoPing is doing now. They actually go from the high ground to the low ground. That's the proper way of taking the mid tier 1 tower. And because they already mounted a really good position here, I think it's going to be hard for Wolf Team to defend, especially because they did use that DPOT to claim the tier 2 tower. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, boy.
A fight that happens here, Bowie. The first person to be brought down within it is going to be King RD, taken down within the arena, but HFN wants to get involved, throwing in the full ultimate. Melancholy is inside the meta, 40R, taking a ton of damage. Will this puck die? And indeed he will. HFN, Eclipse is down, now he has to watch himself, manages to bring down Duster, but would he pay for this with his life? Dragged in by Suze, big block coming in from Audio, and Melancholy lays out the right clicks. Tavo trying to kill Suze, at least gets him down. It's going to be a double kill for the DP. Melancholy attempting to TP out, will be allowed to do so, as a piggy pull for Audio will enable his escape as well. It's a 3-for-2 exchange here, although on the side of Wolf Team, they've lost 2 of their big important cores in the Puck and the Luna. Might end up losing Audio though. Hookshot, King RD finds it directly onto Audio. This just turned magnificent for them. If they can get this kill, it turns out that it was a worthwhile fight, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to do it. They blast him back. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. Blinding Lights, good spell. Audio, good player. And NoPing, they walk away even though they had an equivalent trade death-wise and end up losing the Storm as well as the Mars, killing Luna whilst Melancholy survives. Hashtag worth every single time that happens.
Yeah, we did talk about the fact that, you know, Terrorblade has the better matchup. In fact, like, the NoPing draft scales much more. So Wolf Team is ahead, and that's awesome, but they're supposed to be ahead. They have to, you know, make sure they keep that advantage, they secure Roche, as if this game drags too much, it starts to get ugly for them. So it was a good defense. They also, you know, wasted a decent amount of time defending the tier 1 tower. We'll see what Wolf Team does here. What is it looks like they're actually going BKB on this Luna, so they are aware of the time they're in, and I think this is very positive, because this game, you know, if this lasts 35 plus minutes, it gets so hard for HFN to carry this game. You know, he's known for farming, but he knows that doesn't matter how much or how fast he farms, it's not gonna matter. So I like that he's going BKB.
I also like that Tavo and the gang are committing these ghosts to take out this Ancient. They know that they're not going to be going for any big push right now. And it does seem like they've been committing quite a few resources in the last few minutes in an attempt to try and slow down the farm of this Terrorblade. So no stack for him to claim. It's a pretty decent one It also actually puts Tavo above the net worth of the puck right now. Okay, cool. That's nice. He's also building into a BKB, so the idea is to have the BKB on the Death Prophet, BKB on Luna. DP tanks up for you, she rushes forward. But what do you make of this? We were speaking about the BKB options for Terrorblade before the game started, and it looks like he is going to be adopting that more risky posture here, Bowie. Doesn't want to build BKB, at least not just yet. Opting for the Manta start instead. Do you think he's just waiting to see how these fights pan out before he decides whether or not it's necessary?
I think so. And you know, at the end of the day, you do have this auto draft, right? So actually pushing into NoPing is really hard. You're gonna have all the waves shoved up by the illusions, by the illuminates. So he feels like he has enough time, and I think his assessment is pretty correct. You know, we kind of praise Tavo on farming that stack with the ult, but that also means Exorcism is on cooldown. It means they're not gonna be trying to get Roche in, you know, the next 2 minutes, which gives time for the Terrorblade. I think that's a fair decision.
Smoke up
now Smoke. We did talk about Puck and King RD playing together. Let's see if they can find a juicy kill.
Did you see if that was under the ward? Because they walked just before it. I don't know if they actually got caught in the vision. Doesn't seem like it because the hook shot catches the Storm Spirit down bottom. Suits in danger here. Will he be able to get himself out of it? No, he will not. They take down the Storm Spirit. Great movement there. We wanted to see that combination, Bowie. We get to see it. And Sooth's just shy of having BKB there. Even if he has, does he live if he has BKB in that situation? He probably does, but even then it's probably a bit close.
I think he does. He definitely does. But you know, really good. I think this is even a little bit late for MOV team, but that is the way that you want to play this game. It would be better, you know, if they were able to kill the Storm maybe one more time to delay that BKB a little bit more, because I don't think they'll have the chance to do it again since Suits is like 500 gold away from the BKB. Another really good assessment from them, because, you know, no Kaya, no Bloodstone, no you know, BS item coming from the Storm. He understands that as long as he has BKB, that's how they're going to be able to play this game and delay the game for Terrorblade, which, you know, is the most important part. And that's great. I think NoPing, both teams actually, they know how to win this game, and they're making good decisions.
So far, it's not been a Cloudfest just yet. Some cloudy things might happen in the top lane though. Audio, would he escape here? Sensor Conqueror, the Stomp catches him. Last moment before the TP connected. Unfortunately though, the vision provided by King RD enables them to get the Stomp, get the kill. Sadly, they have opened up space. They could go for Roche, but there's no DD, and the build for Luna doesn't necessarily allow her to go directly into the Roshan pit right now, so unlikely that we see them go for that kind of play. Instead, they smoke up again. You were mentioning that to keep the pressure up onto the Storm Spirit, and that's exactly what they want to do, Bowie. They've hunted down one, they're going to find another if they can.
It was warded though. They smoked on top of that ward, so I feel like it's very unlikely NoPing will fall for this. Good ward, by the way. You don't expect this ward to be up at 18 minutes. I think it was actually the Kato, right? He probably warded there to not die by rotations like this, but he got baited by the center that came from a super odd angle. But nicely done by RDO. I think that ward like slows down the pace of this game, which is the plan overall for NoPing. Now they're gonna try and force Roche. This is very important. If they can get this Roche, that's the first step towards getting the other outer towers. And ideally, Wolf Team wants to win this game with the second Aegis. That's like their ultimate timing to be safe winning this game.
It is a bit unfortunate that all of their objective-taking prowess is somewhat locked behind having access to the Exorcism, but utilized it very well. They take down this Roshan. Exorcism is still going to be up for a little bit of time, but they're going to smoke up, look for a fight with the Eclipse, the Aegis, and a BKB available on the Luna. Who will find the initiation? King RD will find his smoke getting popped off. Will he be able to get the jump onto Sexy Fat? They go forward with this Tumblr's toy. Duster gets revealed here on the high ground. Will he throw out the chain frost? Yes, he will, but it bounces to the creeps. How unlucky can you get? At least he opens up space though for everybody else to escape. So commits his life for the cause. Everybody else, Sexy Fat? 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 Not his best game, let's just put it that way.
I mean, the play's fine, honestly. He just wanted to cut the wave. He understands that it's time for Wolf Team to group up, and I honestly have no idea how HFN knew he was there. I guess maybe they played against each other for a long time. But I think it's more an HFN. Like that's a really good play from HFN more than it's a misplay from the Mars. Maybe the place that he chose was not the greatest. He could have chosen a better tree area. Still really good from both team. That's their plan, and this could be a tier 2 tower. I don't think NoPing is in any condition. Oh, the storm is really low. What happened?
They were killing this young Clockwork, and they managed to bring him down. 40R tried to actually kill the Storm Spirit, but falling very low because reinforcements arrived very quickly from the rest of NoPing. Unfortunately for them, though, 40R does recognize the danger that he's in and retreats swiftly. I think for me, the reason why I'm like so perplexed by the play Sexyfat made is that under normal circumstances, I don't think it's that bad, but with Puck in the game and Clockwork in the game, just every time the trees aren't safe. HY is lying to you. Don't hide in the trees. You're gonna die if you end up there.
Now, oh man, I think I've seen this movie. Okay, HFN is not going high ground because I've seen this movie. They try to end. This is the last time I'm gonna mention that SG series, but the way they lost that game in the game 1 is that they tried to go high ground in the first ages, and that is usually like it's very rare that you see a team doing that. You have to be very far ahead. Yeah. So I got a little bit of PTSD from HFN walking high ground there. But not only they took the tier 2 tower, now that they know Metamorphosis on cooldown, I think they can easily take the mid tier 2 because of the fight that was forced there by 4DR. So really good space creation. Sure, you have the Coddle, but there's a clock here, so you got to be really careful on how you position as RDO.
How they mount this push here to the tier 2. Oh. Big hookshot coming in from King RD. Duster yet again going to be a sacrifice here. And NoPing finding them. Duster has had like practically zero impact since the laning phase has ended here. The Chain Frost haven't been landing flush. The Frost Shield haven't been super impactful in keeping heroes alive. And he's often just been fodder for the side of Wolf team to just bring down when they feel like it. On the bright side though, his death delays this push in the mid lane somewhat long enough that they're not actually going to be able to claim the tower. They're still posturing around the area, but Murder is going to be coming back not too long from now. If they don't get it on this push, I think you have to let this tower go.
Yeah, I mean, Mars, he played really well. He saw that they jumped the Lich, so he was fine to go and cut the wave. And I think that's his job until he actually gets BKB. They already have BKB on Storm, but without the Mars being able to jump and actually survive, it would probably be, suicide for NoPing. And it's really scary. Like when you're playing against a team that can push, the last thing that you want to do is take a not an advantageous fight close to your buildings, because if you lose that fight, you just guarantee that you're going to be able to take some real estate away from you. Suits also cutting the wave. Yeah, and that's like when this game becomes really hard, because they have the tools on the side of NoPing to constantly cut the waves. It's not only the Mars, it's not only the TB illusions. You're gonna have this Storm Spirit with the Coddle Shard just freaking destroying every single wave with no like actual means of contesting. Yeah. This is so annoying, and King RD is like, come here, Suits. Oh. I mean, there's a BKB. There's no way they can kill this guy.
Doesn't even need BKB. He just outplays them heads up, gets himself away. He's home. Had the BKB if necessary, but there's a lot of discipline out of a Storm Spirit not to commit the BKB too soon, because he realizes how important every single second of these charges are going to be. So well played onto him. Gets out, wastes a lot of their time. And in the meantime, while this was happening, Bowie, look at what's happening in the top lane. Melancholy's been pushing this wave out. The Creep Equilibrium was actually pushing in against them, but suddenly it's gone, and now, oh my god, Duster. Okay, I've been talking trash about the Duster Lich, but now here it comes in clutch, using the Chain Frost to bring down the first life of HFN. They will commit the Ghost from top, where they're desperate to try and claim this tier 3 tower. Not so sure how good of an idea this is. They take the tier 3. Will they stick around for more though? Suits jumps in, has the BKB active. They're going straight onto the Luna. HFN falling low. HFN doesn't have a Satanic. A couple more hits would kill him. Suits finds him, but there's still a BKB on HFN, so they can't kill the Luna just yet. Instead, Suits is the one that ends up dying to Tarbo's Exorcism. Melancholy now finding himself without protection. Needs to run away from this fight. Has the Sunder available, but needs to come out of the silence. It takes too long. He ends up dying inside the base. Tarbo finding himself a triple kill on the Death Prophet, and in the meantime HFN comes back, cleans up the range racks. They're forced to buy back on Duster, but there's no Storm, there's no Terrorblade, there's no reason to leave. Wolf team are actually going to get the lane of racks without even needing it ages here, Bowie.
Wow. I mean, that was That was like on the limit. Okay, there's still a backdoor protection if they can somehow cut this wave. They can't though. Yeah, they're gonna get this melee barracks. This was like pretty much. This is really risky. Like this was obviously Wolf team reading that there's no BKB on the Terrorblade. Not only he's BKB for the Manta, but he's also going Scotty. So they're like, this Terrorblade can't fight to his highest potential. And they get a lane of barracks. This is really impressive because, the Aegis was so close from expiring, which could allow NoPing to actually kill HFN before taking that first life, I think. NoPing jumped the gun a little bit because the barracks were in no danger of dying when they went in. Oh, Suits probably has to be KB here.
Nice.
Okay.
He's fine.
Okay. But like that was close. I feel like a lot of teams wouldn't really take the risks the Wolf team did, and as I said, they already lost games trying to take those risks. So I'm glad that it worked out. And this is a solid foundation. You got this first lane of barracks. Now if they can secure the next Roche and do the same thing, that's when they are like 95% on the clear. I think if they can actually get the next Aegis and secure another lane of barracks, this game is almost won for Wolf team. Usually, it's kind of risky to play this sort of kind of all-in draft as they did, but I think they really played well. Like, they won their lanes. They barely did any, like, weird plays or wasted time. And this is actually granting them the chance of playing like this. Very impressive. Looks like they're not even going to wait for the Aegis.
Wow. I mean, it's like you mentioned, fam. They see that there's no BKB for Melancholy. Still hasn't even finished the Skadi. So what are you afraid of? You're 6k up in net worth practically on this Luna. And with the Ghost, they've taken the tier 3 tower. Looking for range racks. Those are gone. Once a tier 3 falls with Luna and Death Prophet, there's just no hope for the lane to survive. And that's just it. 2 lanes taken just like that. If they get lucky enough, Roshan might actually come up on the way back. That would be something else. But for now, they just got the 2 lanes pretty much for nothing. And you were talking about how in the past they've made some very risky pushes. I think one of the big issues they've often had is either underestimating the enemy's strength in defense or overestimating their own strength in offense. This time around here though, Bowie, it seems like their calculations are pitch perfect and their movements on the map, they seem to have a way better understanding of when NoPing's timings are going to be hit than NoPing themselves, because they've only found fights that have been favorable for them in the last like 10 minutes or so. But looking so solid. And what do NoPing do? What's the recovery mechanism for them? BKB is not going to be on for a long time for Melancholy. He's rushing for the Skadi first. In the meantime, what can they do on the side of NoPing to try and get themselves back into the game?
Well, okay, I'm actually so happy that RDO did this. I think his career... Wait, did he... No, he actually bought... So, I mentioned the shard on Claudio, right? I really feel like NoPing, they're just way too all in into this late game, and they ended up, forgetting that they're against a push strat. Because if there was the shard on Claudio, I'm pretty sure Suits could have just cut the top wave so much where there was no option for Wolf Team to just group up top with no Aegis the way that they did. So, yeah, I kind of just hope that RDO would buy the shard right now, because he's not going to finish the side of Vice before the last push from Wolf Team comes. I think what he's doing right now is really, really greedy, and everyone is being so greedy that there's no team fight, there's nothing coming from NoPing. They're just hoping for a time that might not come.
Yeah, the entire team was busy playing some Dota 1, fam, Greed is good. They're playing some old Warcraft there. They couldn't get the memo. Oh, they tried to make a jump quick onto HFN. He tried to Manta dodge there, but he still got speared to the tree. They actually did a decent amount of damage here. We'll be forced to use the Satanic as they claim the tier 2 tower. This should be the signal for Wolf Team to back off. But, of course, they didn't waste any big cooldowns. The only cooldown really used there was a Satanic cooldown. It's going to be back up very shortly. And then you can just go again. And with how much stronger this Luna is right now, Terrorblade feeling like he's going to have a very difficult time fighting. And like you mentioned, because they don't have this Aghanim shot either, I think it's not just that they lack the ability or that they are so focused in the late game. Now, you're already talking about how they lack the ability to cut these waves without having the recall available. It also feels like without recall online, nobody can actually leave the base. Suits maybe is the only one that can do it with the Zip TP backplay, but where on earth can Melancholy farm now on the map if he's never allowed to leave? He knows for a fact that the enemy team will have vision everywhere. They'll be covering all the angles. They have insane mobility from 4DR and King RD. Do you just have to wait for your death to come to you here, Bowie, as doesn't seem like they have to wait for long. They're already pushing middle.
Yeah, I mean, oh my lord, Lich.
Oh my god, Lich gets jumped on and eviscerated. In the meantime, though, Tabo getting jumped on by Sexy Fat Soothe as well as Melancholy, but unfortunately, Tabo is a little bit too tanky to die right now, still alive. They instead turn around and get the kill onto Melancholy. Duster's gone. Soothe, Audio, and Sexy Fat just retreat into the base. And NoPing, they realize that their goose is cooked. GG, well played, is called by them as Wolf Team take game number 1 here in a series where they were the certain underdogs. They come out on top, they show their quality, and they show that they can roll with the big boys, and they stop NoPing in 30 minutes here, Bowie.
Yeah, I mean, name a more iconic duo. South America not buying early BKB on Terrorblade. I said NoPing is not gonna make this mistake because they are the 3-0 team. They are the ones with the superior strategy. I got proved wrong. I think NoPing, they're obviously coming from this huge streak, and they're obviously playing well. But they definitely underestimated how much this Wolf Team draft can push, and everyone was just going like, all right, in 50 minutes we're gonna win this, guys. And yeah, like someone needs to play the early game, someone needs to actually create space. And I think Suits did it, but the problem with this game is Sexy Fat had a bad laning stage, but added to that, you have this Kato hero just draining resources around the map. So the BKB on Mars just came way too late, and they never had a timing where the Mars and the Storm could play together to buy time for Terrorblade. Like, sure, Kato can farm as a 4, but he doesn't add anything, right? He doesn't add more damage. Illuminate doesn't scale as much. He was just trying to get this side of eyes. Like, I felt like the approach was very greedy from NoPing, and they get punished deservingly. Wolf Team, very good strategy. Kind of risky, but it paid out because I think NoPing, they didn't really took the right approach in this game.
Another thing that I think that NoPing were not able to do successfully is, we already spoke about how Sexy Fat couldn't play the early game with his timings on his items, but I didn't want to call attention to it, but we have to bring up Duster. It really didn't feel like this Lich. What was it supposed to accomplish, Bowie, and what went wrong? Because there were legitimately times that I forgot there was Lich in the game, so I'd come back and be like, oh, snap, there's a Lich there, snap, oh, okay, cool. And then he's dead. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's why I forgot about him.
The Lich was pretty much a discount Treant Protector, right? He was supposed to be this Frost Shield guy that alongside the Kato makes it really hard for them to push towers. But he was so underfarmed, and I also feel like the Kato wasn't really in position a lot of the times to slow down things. So if the Lich is by himself, he's definitely going to get jumped because you have enough jump on the clock and the puck. So it's tough. I also don't feel like it's the strongest lane with the Terrorblade. So maybe, if they had a Juggernaut, if they had something else where the Lich could have got more items, where the Lich was enabled by his carry, it could have been a better showing. But as it stands, definitely, I don't think this Lich was in a position where he could do much more, unfortunately. I don't think it's Duster's fault.
Well, not Duster's fault, but it is the success of Wolf Team that allows them to take this game 1 victory. And now they are in a position where they could potentially upset NoPing, deliver NoPing their first loss here in this Division 2 of the South American DPC, and potentially give themselves, let's not say guarantee, but keep themselves in the running to promote to Division 1. On the other side, NoPing will certainly want to try and fight back in game number 2 and make this a much more competitive series and show us all why they have, up until this point, remained completely undefeated here in Division 2. We will find out which of these 2 scenarios will actually take place when we return right after a short break. Game 2 of Wolf Team versus NoPing coming soon with Snare and Bowie. Don't go anywhere because Dota 2 action will be back in a flash.